First, let's start with this case. I'm a 13-year-old girl, and I have two younger sisters, ages 11 and 4. Growing up, my mom always wanted a son, but instead, she had 3 daughters. I've been taking care of my sisters since I was 8 years old. I never really got to hang out with friends because I was always babysitting while my mom went out with her sister. A year ago, my mom got pregnant again. I wasn't happy about it at all because I knew that once the baby was born, he would end up being my responsibility, just like my sisters. My mom had a boy this time. Her dream finally came true. Everyone in the family was over the moon about my brother, and he instantly became the favorite. Meanwhile, my sisters and I are often mocked or ignored in comparison. At first, my mom took care of my brother, but once he turned 1, he became my responsibility, just like my sisters had been. Today, my mom told me she was going out with her sister again and expected me to take care of my brother. Something inside me just snapped. I told her, "You were the one desperate to have a boy, so now he's your responsibility." I've already taken care of my sisters without getting to enjoy my childhood. She got furious and yelled, "You should never have been born." Then she left with her sister to go to the mall, leaving me alone to take care of my brother again. Now, my whole family thinks I'm a bad daughter for talking back to my mom. I'm exhausted and frustrated, and I don't think it's fair that I'm being treated this way. Am I in the wrong for standing up for myself? Or should I have just kept quiet and taken care of my brother again? I really need other people's opinions. Am I in the wrong? Let's start judging. Tell trusted adults outside your family. Gather some evidence discreetly if you can. Don't do anything that will put you in physical danger. From now on, try to fly under her radar until you can get some help. You've had to grow up very fast, but you're still a child. The fact you are posting on Reddit and asking for help as a 13-year-old is leading me to believe you're taking on the bulk majority of the child care responsibilities, but you have no parental guidance yourself. Your mom is not being a good parent. She isn't loving you or your siblings. She got her patriarchy accessory and doesn't care about anything else. You deserve what is left of your childhood. Please, please, please raise hell with CPS, your guidance counselor at school, your sympathetic older cousin who always has your back and has told you they're here to help if you need it, whoever you can. But nobody who you're unsure about. Unfortunately for you, you're a 13-year-old girl and people think they can dismiss and belittle you. She's being overdramatic. She's got such a bad attitude now that she's becoming a teenager. She is a badly behaved, horrible child, and this was to teach her personal responsibility and keep her present and accountable in the family. She and your other bad family members have so much power over you. They know it and feel fully entitled to your autonomy and your blind devotion. They think just existing for them should be an honor for you. If you take nothing else away from this, I believe you are valid and truthful. You don't deserve indentured servitude instead of childhood. You deserve to be loved for the child you are. Your mom should be doing her utmost to make you feel secure, safe, and supported. Best of luck, and please be careful on the internet. You are highly susceptible to abuse from other sources when you're used to it all the time. Protect yourself. Fiercely. Call CPS now and report your mother. Your sisters and brothers are not your responsibility. You're not in the wrong. Call CPS or the equivalent for where you live. Your mother is neglectfully abusing you and your siblings. She is parentifying you, which absolutely is abuse. She is relying on you being the better person than she is by you not wanting your siblings neglected when she leaves, and she is neglecting them. Again, call Child Protective Services or the equivalent and do it yesterday. Next up, I'm currently enrolled in an online college program and was working on a particularly elaborate and challenging assignment. I had already expressed to my partner several times that this assignment was extremely stressful and required my full attention. I asked him to please not talk to me until I finished, explaining that interruptions would cause me to lose focus. Despite my clear communication, he continued trying to talk to me throughout the hour. I responded calmly each time, saying things like, "I really need to focus on this right now, and please don't interrupt me." I tried to maintain a polite tone. Finally, after about an hour of work, I was on the verge of completing the assignment. literally at the final calculations where everything I'd been working on was coming together. Just then, he interrupted me again, this time angrily asking, "When are you going to come eat?" I responded, "I'm almost done. Please don't interrupt my train of thought." He continued, "Your food is getting cold." I repeated, "I'm almost done. Please don't interrupt my train of thought." He pressed on, "Well, when are you going?" And that's when I snapped. Instead of calmly repeating myself again, I blurted out, "Shut up!" I was startled by my own response. It wasn't what I meant to say at all. I intended to repeat my earlier phrase, but in that moment, "Shut up," just came out. I immediately felt bad, especially since his mom happened to be on the phone with him at the time. It was embarrassing, to say the least. Now I feel conflicted. On one hand, I know yelling "shut up" wasn't the right way to handle the situation, and I feel guilty for losing my temper. On the other hand, I had calmly asked him not to interrupt me multiple times, explained my need for focus, and was already under significant stress. I can't help but feel like his persistence was frustrating and disrespectful, given the context. For what it's worth, he did stop talking to me after that. Am I in the wrong for snapping at him? Or was my reaction somewhat justified given the circumstances? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. You had repeatedly told him that you did not want to be interrupted. You told him why. He did not respect your need for privacy. And at a crucial moment, he not only interrupts again, he keeps going after you, repeatedly ask him to not bother you. I think "shut up" was entirely reasonable given the circumstances. He wasn't listening to you when you asked nicely, so you needed to very firmly tell him to go away. The core problem is his constant disrespect of your need for privacy and to not be interrupted. He owes you an apology at minimum. You're not in the wrong. He's so completely disrespectful to the point that I question if that behavior is sabotage. The number of interruptions and complete disregard for your pleas for peace and quiet, and how often you had to reiterate why, makes me wonder if he resents your successes or future success. Whether it's that or he's just incredibly rude, it's insane. I hope you can get through school and this not affect your grades and ability to learn. Boulder is the important stuff. The rest is my scheduled ramble. Lol, you're not in the wrong. If he had listened the first 40 times you asked, it never would have escalated to this moment. If he was that worried you needed food, he should have done what I do, which is bring in a plate, with food on it, lol, and silently set it down next to my SO. My ADHD ass understands the focus issues, and if any of you have read any other post I've written, y'all can attest that I know I just can't shut up, except I guess I'm doing it better than OP's husband. So, that's new for me. Next up, about a week ago, my mother asked if she could spend Thanksgiving at our house this year, and my brother and niece planned to join her. For context, my grandmother passed away earlier this year, and my family traditionally celebrated Thanksgiving at her house. I told my mother that we had initially planned to visit my in-laws since they live closer to us, and my wife wasn't feeling enthusiastic about cooking this year. However, I also said I'd check with my wife to see if they had any firm plans. After discussing it, we decided to stay home and host Thanksgiving for my family. I offered to help with cooking to ease the burden, but my wife insisted she wanted to handle it herself. At that point, everything seemed settled. Fast forward to today, my mother called and told me she planned to bring some dishes: stuffing with turkey legs, fresh sweet potatoes, and a cake. I thought this was a thoughtful gesture, but my wife was livid. She said it's extremely rude to bring food to someone's house for Thanksgiving and saw it as a sign of disrespect. We got into an argument because I felt my mom was just trying to help and contribute, not be rude. My wife, however, firmly believed that this was either a deliberate act of rudeness or an attempt to undermine her role as the host. She also said that, as her husband, I shouldn't have allowed it. She then vented to her family about how disrespectful my mom was, which made the situation even more tense. To try to smooth things over, I ended up telling my mom to bring only the cake, as that was deemed acceptable by my wife. I personally didn't see the issue with my mom's offer, especially given the circumstances, but it became clear that my wife viewed it very differently. Am I in the wrong for not immediately siding with my wife on this? Or was my mom's gesture reasonable given the situation? Let's start judging. I'm kind of leaning towards everyone sucks here. While Mom probably has the best of intentions, it is rude to tell the hosts what you're bringing instead of asking what you can bring. And stuffing is kind of a major part of the meal on Thanksgiving. So it is presumptuous to tell the host you're bringing it. Similar situation, to a lesser extent, with the sweet potatoes. Your wife was understandably upset, but trash-talking your mom to her family crossed the line. You're not an idiot per se, but you should have checked with the host, which, if she's cooking, means your wife, before okaying your mother's contributions. You're in the wrong. It's the day before Thanksgiving. Your wife has likely had her menu picked out and planned for a while, and all of the shopping is done. Then your mom announces that she's bringing some of the main dishes? That is so unbelievably rude that either your mom is terminally oblivious or she's making a power play. Since she invited herself and her family over to your house a week in advance, I'm assuming it's the latter. If she wanted to help cook, she should have asked what she could bring, suggested what she wanted to bring in advance. That way she would actually be helping your wife instead of messing with her menu. Everyone sucks. It would not be wrong to bring a side dish or an additional dessert to the event. However, it is rude to bring turkey and stuffing, given that is the main part of the Thanksgiving meal. It comes across as, I don't trust you to deliver the main meal, so I made it myself, rather than, here is something extra I made to share. Next up, for some backstory. I'm a 24-year-old woman, and I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. My half-brothers are 13 and 15 years older than me. My mom currently lives with my older brother since my dad passed away. One of my brothers is married with 2 kids, and the other is single. When we planned our wedding earlier this year, we had a very tight timeline, just 2 months, and a venue that could accommodate only 60 people. My half-brothers, my sister-in-law, their kids, and my mom were all invited. Here's where the problem starts. My mom and I don't have the best relationship. She had an issue with me coming out as bisexual, and our relationship has been strained, especially after my dad passed away. About a month after we sent out our save the dates, my mom told me that my older brother wanted to invite his friend, the friend's girlfriend, and their child to our wedding because he thought he wouldn't know many people there. However, he didn't contact me directly about it. I told my mom that my fiancé and I would consider it, but only if my brother contacted me himself. I wanted to hear from him directly. 2 weeks before the wedding, I still hadn't received an RSVP from my brothers, despite asking multiple times. Neither of them responded. It turns out my brother went behind my back and told his friend, the girlfriend, and the child that they were invited to the wedding. The friend even arranged to take off work that weekend and requested custody of his child from his ex-wife for the event, all without my knowledge or approval. When I found out, I was furious. I messaged my brother and told him that his friend, the girlfriend, and their child were not invited. I explained that while we might have considered adding them if he'd asked directly, and if space became available, going behind my back was unacceptable. Because of this, I no longer wanted them at our wedding. My brother reacted by sending me a nasty message, calling me a stuck-up and accusing me of not wanting to help look after our mom. He also threw in a lot of other hurtful comments, including shaming me for not having a job while he runs multiple businesses. After a big fight with my mom, I decided it would be best if my brothers, their families, and my mom didn't attend the wedding. They blocked me on WhatsApp, and that was the end of it. Our wedding was wonderful, a magical experience I'll never forget. But now my mom is holding everything against me, saying I should apologize for the message I sent about not inviting my brother's friend. She constantly brings up my half-brothers and the wedding in every conversation, and her family members have been messaging me, calling me the idiot for not inviting them. They argue that, as the youngest sibling, I should have honored my half-brother's rights to attend my wedding. I wonder if I should have apologized to de-escalate the situation before it spiraled to the point of cutting contact. Am I in the wrong for refusing to apologize and standing by the message I sent? Or should I have just let them come to avoid the family drama? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. And honestly, your own siblings and mom weren't able to communicate with you and didn't come to your wedding. And they still make you feel like you were the idiot? Honestly, cut them out. You don't need people like that, who see you just as an afterthought. You weren't enough for your brother to come to your wedding? He couldn't communicate. But your mom still is mad at you? Why aren't you more mad at them and still let her hurt you? Your older half-brother is no different from the sister who wears a white wedding gown to your wedding, or the sister-brother who makes an announcement at your wedding, or the brother who proposed at your wedding. They are attention-seeking drama queens kings. Issuing his own invitations to his friend's girlfriend, and his friend's kid to your wedding without asking you in advance is also his way of showing his disregard, contempt, and disrespect for you. You're not in the wrong. Your mom and your older half-siblings do not respect you as a person. They should not be invited to your wedding, and I would bet they would have created some drama during the wedding, had they been invited. You're not in the wrong. You were unclear, but I'm guessing it was the single brother who decided to include 3 randos to your small wedding without asking you? He won't know anyone there? Your shared mother, his other brother and family, and you are all no one?